Hello, folks. Welcome back to another week of the Tiger Sports Show, where we take a trip around the Hastings athletic world, and we're starting to wrap up some fall sports. It's getting cooler out. Co-host Tren, what do you have to say about the weather? Are you ready for a little cooler weather?
Let's give a little weather report. It's still windy. The leaves are currently blowing south down Burlington, and they're not stopping in front of my house.
Well, they were blowing right in my door last night. I had to go out and take the umbrella down when that wind came up. Otherwise, my patio umbrella ends up in the canyon.
Yeah, mine would end up down Burlington. But yeah, the front came through and changed the forecast and the temps for today for state softball. So
well, yeah, and for football Friday night, what kind of weather are we going to look at?
It's actually going to be nicer by Friday. Whoops, sorry. It's actually going to be a little nicer by Friday, but still a little windy.
Okay, well, what are you thinking? First time the Ralston Rams have ever come to Hastings. The two teams have only met once before. What are you thinking about the game Friday night?
I think it's just a get-right game. We looked at, like producer Tate said, they beat all the new schools. Lincoln Northwest before they stopped playing, and then Bona Vista, and I can't remember the other one.
The Westview Wolverines. They beat the Westview Wolverines.
Yeah, the Tigers got good news this week that they'll be eligible for the playoffs thanks to the Scottsbluff rule.
Is it absolutely for sure?
Pretty much. They have to vote on it the way Stu talked in the World Herald. But from what I heard from sources inside the high school athletic department, it is pretty much a done deal. So,
all right. Well, we got two winnable games to finish the year then. You're talking about a springboard into next year, right?
Yeah, with all the juniors and sophomores that are out, there's only a handful of seniors.
Send the four seniors out the right way.
Yeah.
And catapult yourself with some good feeling into next year. Yeah, I think that's the story. And Tren, like I told you earlier this week, we owe those Ralston Rams. They may look all cute wearing their light blue, but man, the only game Hastings ever played, I was right in the middle of that thing. We traveled up there in 1984, and I told you I thought it was 44-0. I looked it up; it was only 27-0, but it felt like 44-0, mainly because I had forgotten my mouthpiece. I exchanged my face mask the night before because I wanted the cool white face mask instead of the old-fashioned gray one, and I left my mouthpiece on it. So I had to make a sophomore, Jim Zaid, give me his mouthpiece because I didn't want to tell the coaches that I came unprepared. So I wore his mouthpiece. It was gross. I was sick to my stomach, and we played like I was sick to my stomach.
So you pulled a Gordon Witten, huh?
I tell you, the boys have got to get it right for me. They got to straighten things up for me. I blew it in 1984, so I'm counting on these guys.
At least you didn't bring the wrong colored jersey. That's another story for another time. So
Gordon did that?
Well, yeah, he played basketball his junior year or his senior year.
He got confused about dark at home, white on the road.
Well, yeah, you wear white at home when you're on the road for basketball. You wear black at home. He brought the wrong one. And
how did we not mention Gordo when we were talking about number ones?
Oh, wow. I didn't even think about that. The ultimate wishbone quarterback.
Yes. Yeah, he and Stevie Jones easily are two greatest option quarterbacks ever, I think.
Yeah, he engineered the first 2-0 start on almost 20 years. And Lincoln Northeast came down for a little scrimmage and went back with a butt kicking.
I remember that. Well, I have to tell that story. That might be one of the Mount Rushmore of great Tiger football stories when we do that.
It might be one of the greatest Tiger wins ever.
Okay.
And probably one of the greatest upsets ever.
Biggest upsets maybe. Hey, what's your prediction for Friday?
I'm looking Tiger W. I'm getting the pom-poms out next week. So.
All right. That's what I've got too. Tigers take care of business. All right. Underclassmen were playing Kearney a bunch this week, I noticed. And the big news was out of Grand Island where the 8th graders took a loss, 6-0. Close game. They missed out on the undefeated season there. But a great bunch of kids, looking forward to seeing them play freshman football next year.
Yeah, definitely. Westridge has been an interesting place to play. We had a couple interesting games there. So
you're kind of out in the pasture there when you're playing, aren't you? I mean, that's a new suburb, but it still has cow pasture feel.
yeah, when we went, the guy I was working with from Westridge did not know that 8th grade football videotape. So that we record our games. So that was always interesting.
All right. Well, let's run through what's going on in the other sports as football. Football has 2 games left, and that'll be it because they're not playoff eligible. So we're not doing any playoff math on the envelopes this year. Boys tennis heads to state tennis. In fact, they took off a couple hours ago. Get a little practice in Lincoln, stay overnight in Lincoln. You got to get up super early because first matches are 8 a.m. And probably the names to watch are Ablett and Graves at #1 doubles. They're our only seeded team. They're seeded 12. That means they're predicted for 1 win. Love to see them get 2 wins, which would get the Tigers 8 points. And then out of the unseeded guys, you hope we get a win, maybe 2 wins here or there, and try to sneak your way into the top 10 in Class B, huh?
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Well, girls golf rounded it up out at Gehring, out at the Monument View Golf Course, beautiful golf course. The girls went out. They were in 9th place after day 1, after their fabulous hour-and-a-half sudden death golf district finish where they finished 3rd to qualify. I think you got to come up with another name for sudden death if it takes 90 minutes, don't you think, Tren?
Yeah, definitely. I saw the pictures of the 17th hole with Chimney Rock behind it.
Beautiful.
That has to be maybe one of – I'm not a big golf person, but I would put that up.
Hold it, Tren.
What?
Isn't it Scotts Bluff?
I don't know. I saw
you can't
a rock.
see Chimney Rock from Gehring.
Okay, well, there was a mountain.
Chimney Rock looks like a chimney.
Okay, well,
Scotts Bluff is a big old rock.
There was a rock, and I thought it was Chimney Rock. I'm sorry. It was very nice.
Producer Tate says Scotts Bluff is the coolest thing ever. He has climbed it.
Oh,
and
wow.
Scotts Bluff is 2 words, whereas the town Scotts Bluff is 1 word.
Okay, so I had it wrong. Anyway, the Scotts Bluff is very cool when you're hitting off the tee box in 17. I'm never going to know that. I just saw the pictures.
Maybe you and I will go out there and just play 17. We'll just play 17. We'll go buy some clubs at the Goodwill in Gehring, and we'll go just play 17.
Okay.
My hopes for a tight show are disappearing. All right. Hey, the girls were 9th going into day 2. They slipped to 11th. Anna Brandt trying to get in the top 15 for a medal. Ended up in 18th again, just like she had as a junior. But a great career for her, leading the Tigers. And I think, other than Anna, everybody's back next year. I talked to Coach Christie today. He said he didn't like driving to Gehring twice in a week, but he kind of had a twinkle in the eye about the girls he's got coming back next year. So next fall, we may be talking about bigger goals for Tiger girls golf.
Yep.
All right. Volleyball. I was checking in on volleyball. Since their win over Takema Herman at the beginning of October, they've lost to Grand Island Northwest, Beatrice, and Aurora. They lost 3-1 to that Aurora one. I was kind of hoping they might be able to sneak that. They've got a tough one tomorrow at Norris, Tren. That Norris bunch, they can bump Set and Spike.
Yeah, Norris has a few girls playing for Nebraska, at least one.
Yeah. And they're 23-6, so that's going to be tough. Then Minden, I wasn't sure what we were going to deal with Minden at the end of the year. I should have known, Tren. Whenever Minden wants to play us, they're good.
Yeah.
Minden never calls for a game when they're not good, Tren. They're 25-2. So the Tigers have they've got their work cut out for them to find a way to get some momentum going into sub-districts. And I haven't looked at the sub-district setup yet, but we'll look at that next week. I'm assuming we're headed on the road for that.
Yeah, probably.
We'll see if producer Tate has an answer to that. All right. Softball trend. Softball season came to what in Tiger Land is a premature ending. I think first time since 2014 that we aren't playing in the state tournament we host. Did you go up to Seward?
Yeah, producer Tate and I drove up Friday morning. We missed Emma Langren's 3-run homer. We got out to leads in both games. Just couldn't finish. Ran into some tough innings. You get 3 outs for a reason. You can't let teams get you can't let them use 6 outs and get 3 outs. You got to go 3 for 3. Made a couple errors and
some uncharacteristic Tiger errors. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Seward just got hot. It was a beautiful little field. It's sort of in a valley a little bit. Internet coverage and phone coverage is very sporadic, but Seward had the kids coming down from the middle school at the top of the hill. It was a nice little setup, and we just couldn't get the big hits when we needed them in the late in the games. We let the first game we let that slip away.
I thought we had that one, Trevor. I thought we had it.
Yeah, definitely. If we get game 1, then it's up for grabs. But we let that slip away. They hit the 5 spot in the 5th. Yeah, it was the 5th both games that they hit us for crooked innings.
Yeah. So, I tell you, Seward, great job by the Seward Strive crew. I was stuck in school, but just a great broadcast and great camera angles. I was really impressed with that. So at least if I'm stuck in school, I'm glad they did a great job televising. Seward ran into a little buzzsaw this morning at State. I tell you, Tren, I kind of think Grand Island Northwest is the pick there, don't you?
Yeah, I have. I think Wahoo has seen enough lately. Well, it'll be interesting. They play Wahoo. Wait, Jim Northwest plays
Wahoo tonight.
Tonight, 4:30. Yeah,
right now it's going on. Yeah.
So it'll be interesting. Those 4 teams have all seen each other. Wahoo and Jim Northwest haven't played.
Yeah, I'm more confident. I'm more confident of Northwest in B than I am of 34-0 Gretna in A.
Yeah, very true.
I think that pitcher, I don't know her name, but she is dealing.
All the Millard schools are representative. Our old friend Scott, I wondered what they were doing today. So
yeah, I'm not picking Scott. I'm not picking Scott to win Class B, but Papillion, Papio is back 30th straight year. 30th straight year at state softball. They were an underdog last week and they made it. Yeah. Incredible dynasty.
Then Central City has a nice pitcher.
All right.
I watched her. They're going to play our friends from Hastings in blue.
How did St. do? Did you get an 11 o'clock score?
St. won. They won this morning.
All right. Well, I'm a big Jordan Head fan, their pitcher. I'm a big Jordan Head fan. She's a great kid.
Yes, she is.
Yeah. Okay. Volleyball. This is the word from producer Tate. Volleyball will most likely be at Grand Island Northwest and be the number 2 seed and play McCook. Lex will be on the other side of the bracket with Northwest, but it's going to be tough to climb out of that with Northwest in there. We got beat 2-0 by Northwest the other day, but hopefully the girls can turn that around. All right. A lot of people coming back. We'll be talking Tiger softball next year, won't we, Trent?
Yes, definitely.
All right.
Younger girls coming up and just get going and
keep the coach speak machine rolling.
Yeah.
All right. I've got not so great news out of cross country. I'm hearing we've got an injury toward the top of our lineup on the boys' side as we get ready to head to Overton tomorrow. We might be missing a runner, which throws a wrench in everything because I really had our boys pegged maybe to compete in the district for the championship and definitely with a great chance of qualifying. We're going to have some guys down in the lineup step up tomorrow. I think we got some guys who can do it.
Yeah. Saw them practicing in the soccer fields. I've seen them the last couple of days when I've left. So,
well, good luck to the cross country teams. Hopefully, the injury rumors that Mrs. Mays is funneling me. She kind of keeps her ear to the cross country ground. The injury news she's funneling me. Hopefully, it's wrong, or hopefully we have some people step up on the girls' side. I think the girls have a chance to qualify. They're going to need their best day, but they can do it. And so hopefully we'll be talking about state cross country next week.
Yep. Good luck to them. Tiger Mania on Monday for vocal music. Mr. Yost has those folks going. I watched the men's choir enough the last 3 weeks that I knew most of the songs, and I was sitting back singing them on Monday during rehearsal. And
you need to just step up and ask for your own slot in Tiger Mania. They would give you a slot.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll go right after Alyssa Breckner and her booming voice. that I saw the video of.
All right. Well, maybe
Chamber Choir was out at state softball. They did the national anthem this morning, so I know they represented us very well.
Maybe Tiger Mania for you and me next year. Maybe we'll make it next year.
Okay, I'll bet in Costello then or something like that.
Well, Tiger Mania tickets still available. Band, was it OMI last week? I think they're headed to Kearney for state.
Yeah, I think so too.
I
know they're practicing hard every morning.
Yep. I learned a little bit of the routine the other day. The part where you lean and come back. Coach B said I didn't have the count right. I got to get it on an 8 count. So I'm working on that still, but I need those guys to come and keep the beat on the edge of their snare drums, but we're working on that. All right, let's head to our history segment. Tiger greats by the number trend. 36 through 39 are tough, huh?
Yeah. Oh, wow. You got a fancy graphic now.
Yeah, I've been working on fancy graphic. There of the people that I picked, though I took a couple of yours and I changed to yours there, but there's who we have so far. I don't know. There's a couple in there you talked me into. I can't remember.
I don't know if I had any.
Well, maybe they're just my picks, but let's go on. Let's go to 36. I've got some picks this week. I've got a 36 nomination who didn't quite make it, but he was my favorite number 36. There we go. Russell Meyer played opposite me at outside linebacker. When we were in school, he wore number 36. There he is in his stolen Minden M Club t-shirt. Not maybe it wasn't stolen. I don't know. Russ always had that Minden t-shirt. Russ is a heck of a car salesman in Lincoln. Took care of my daughter a year and a half ago. So Russ was always a lot of fun at football practice, and he wore number 36. But I decided to award number 36 to one of our greatest athletes who didn't wear a number.
Oh.
Dennis Albers, two-time state gymnastic all-around champion, went on to Nebraska to be all Big 8, a Big 8 champion. One of the greatest gymnasts that Nebraska has ever produced. Probably if you're making a list of 6 to 8 gymnasts, I bet you're going to get Dennis Albers on the list. So I'm just going to give him number 36 because he never wore a number.
How did you tie 36 into that, or is this a super stretch?
I'm just giving him the number. I'm just saying.
Here,
I don't have.
Go back to the other picture.
Those windows, that's the South Gym. That's the South Gym back there.
Oh,
you want to go back to the Russ Meyer picture? You want to talk about Mr. V?
Oh, Mr. V, a hero of mine. So the king of Tiger Theater. Yep. Almost 50 years, I think.
I'm working on the Vberg project. I've got some of his archives that I kept.
So, funny story about Mr. V's room. You ready for it?
Okay.
I saved it for the show. I go in late to Com Arts in Miss Funky's room, Katie's room, and Miss Funky sub counted me tardy today. And then she's like, wait, you're not a student. I said, yeah, about 30 years ago I was.
A little more than that, I think, Trader. So, all right. You need to do the show from the Do Room.
Oh, I could. That would be cool.
You need to do the show from the Do Room.
Maybe right before the fall play.
Oh, good idea.
I'll stay late. That would be very cool.
Let's go on to number 37. I've got a Tiger who wore number 37. There we go. Ron Hart, all-state football player, 1950. I think he's got some connection to Hart Floors, who do the wood floors, do the basketball floors for people. But that's Ron Hart, all-stater in 1950. He's my pick at number 37. Then I've got another football player, another all-stater and a state champ at 38, Vern Steiner. He was kind of the second gun along with Wally Hopp on that undefeated 1940 team. I love that pose by Vern. Vern played at Nebraska, was a great tackle for Nebraska in the 40s, and then he played pro football for the Bethlehem Bulldogs in Pennsylvania, Tren, a league that was NFL caliber. He played a year for them. So another pro football player for us. When we make our pro football lists, don't let me forget Vern Steiner.
That's the I'm going to hurt you stance.
Yes, it is.
And you're just going to take it because I'm going to come back and do it again.
Vern Steiner. I think his dad was Alonzo Steiner, who was also an all-stater for Nebraska back in the 20s. All right, 39, Tren. I bet you have a 39.
Oh, I have a 39. Probably one of the most famous families in school history.
What do you want to say about Ben?
Oh,
Tell the people about Ben Butenbach.
Well, he'd rather hit you than look at you, but off the field, he was one of the nicest guys you ever meet. I saw him this summer. He's back with his boys. They live in Lincoln. They play for Lincoln Southeast, and I think it's ironic because he ruined Southeast Dream, him and his brother Bo, when we played on that '93 state title team, and then his boys play for Lincoln Southeast now. So I sort of think
Southeast was going for a three-peat that night at Seacrest, weren't they? When the Tigers, Southeast, that would have been 3 straight state championships for them.
And Ben was just a hard worker. Played tight end. He played fullback his senior year. Probably could have ran for 1,000 yards if we just let him go. But they had a little running back called Josh Cole back there. So the two battering rams.
Of course, Kelly Weisman the year before. So, I mean, we were loaded with fullback types.
Probably 220, 225 linebacker. And he walked on at Nebraska. Yeah. Just drove those starters nuts from the stories I've heard. Coach Osborne would go nuts. Then he played arena ball in Lincoln when it first started, and that was Ben's kind of field because you couldn't hide from Ben on the smaller field. And the legend says that Ben would put you in the wall.
Who was the Nebraska? He was an All-American lineman that you ran into at Applause Video because he was like here hunting. And, of course, instead of asking him about being an All-American and all the national championships, your first question is, how's my boy Ben Butenbach doing on the scout team?
Okay, yeah, it was Aaron Taylor at Applause Video. He's back right before the 97, probably 96, that he was back probably with Ben Hunting. And he's the one that told me the stories about Ben and how Osborne would just go nuts on the lineman because he's like, why can't you block that little guy? But we all know
if I remember right, Taylor said, because we can't see that little, and then something we can't say on the show.
Yeah, Ben was just a tough dude, all go, no stop. And I can only imagine them trying to swat him away like a fly, but then he gets right back up.
Yeah, he would get after him, I'm sure.
So that's funny that you remembered that. I forgot about that.
Yeah, a great walk-on story at Nebraska. One of those guys that made the program so great, went down there, worked, played special teams, played scout team. Just a great guy, and he's got a kid who's going to Nebraska to play baseball, right?
Yeah, yep. And then he's got a younger one. We watched the younger one play against the Braves this summer. He's built more. The older one's a center fielder and just huge. We went down to watch him play the Chiefs down in Lincoln on a really hot Friday, and then the younger boy is just a youngin', but he's a catcher and he's built just like Ben.
All right, well, there's our number 39, Ben Butenbach, and there we go. We've got the board filled out there. All right, that brings us to the end of the show, Trenner. We got Friday night. You're ready to go. You think you're going to have good weather for the middle schoolers?
I hope they stay home. Kids. I'm hoping for a middle school dance Friday because I was hoping it would be cold so I could actually watch the game and not have to get cranky.
You ought to sponsor middle school dances on football night.
I could sponsor middle school dance. I'm hoping the last one's cold. Put the list back up. I don't see any of my guys.
We'll deal with that. Remember when I said we're going to have a tight show? This is a tight show. We're not bringing graphics back up for you. All right. You get last word, Tren. What do you have to say?
Go Tigers. Give me a reason to get those pom-poms out.
Go Tigers.